WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Saturday's tornado in Columbus has claimed a second life.
Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says 77-year-old Donnie Schipple was repairing the roof of a business today. The accident happened on 6th Street South. Schipple fell about 12 feet and died at the scene. Friends say he was a selfless man, always wanting to help others. Ashley Pounds died Saturday after the storm.
Storm victims and volunteers in Columbus now have a place to find out about resources for help and opportunities to help. The Trotter Convention Center is now the home of the Disaster Assistance Center. The goal is to unite victims and volunteers. If you were impacted by either the tornado or the floods, organizers are asking for you to come register. They are trying to get a full list of people affected and find out everything they need. Volunteers also need to register at the Trotter. They will then be organized into teams to help the victims.
We're kind of serving like a matchmaker. We're saying, here's the need, here's how we can help you, and we're just doing that matchmaking, but then also putting it in priority of how people, doing the most urgent need first.
The Trotter lower level opens at 8 a.m. tomorrow and will be open from 8 until 6 for victims and 8 until 4 for volunteers. It's been about 96 hours since that twister hit Columbus, and law enforcement have been on the job around the clock since it struck.
That's right. It's an all-hands-on-deck situation and then some. Even with extra manpower in town, the shifts are still long and constant. For many, fatigue is beginning to set in. Our Jory Talley joins us live with more on that. Jory.
Rubble, despair, it's all still out here, and law enforcement has been too. Right now, they're in the middle of a shift change, but when they're out here, you'll see blue lights on almost every corner. The purpose is to protect people and property.
Officers have been working every hour since the tornado struck Saturday night. The storm may be gone, but the danger is still out there.
There's still power lines down, there's gas that's still leaking, and of course there's all kind of rubbish and debris that's still hanging. We're concerned about their safety. First thing is that if they're out there and what'll happen is they get hurt, then we got to take our efforts and try to rescue them when we can be trying to get someone's lights on.
You can see the blue lights and familiar faces of local law enforcement on almost every corner, but they've also got some help from around the state.
Special operations group, that group of guys that kind of have to drop things at a moment to come to render aid to those that have been hit by severe weather and things of that nature.
And since Mother Nature is unpredictable, so is the team's schedules.
Some guys had just gotten home. I was talking to some from another detail and got called to come here right after they got home. So I know a lot of those guys are fatigued from one detail and having to come to another.
Chief Shelton says his officers have worked 5 days straight and will continue working every day this week.
And I ask the public to be patient with our officers, because we're not trying to be rude, we're not trying to be ugly, we're just concerned about your safety, and we're just saying, understand that if I tell you can't go down that street or that you can't go that way, it's for a purpose.
That purpose is safety.
A lot of them have lost their homes, everything they own, and the last thing they need is people coming through sightseeing and being a tourist when they're at their worst moments. And we're all tired. Everybody needs to have patience and understand we're redirecting you for a reason.
Shelton wants to remind everyone to not move barricades. He says if you do, you can be cited because it's against the law to disregard a barricade. Beckham says that the SOC team will be here in town until city leaders say so. Reporting live here in Columbus, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
All right, good information, Jory. Thanks a lot. Well, as more people continue the process of rebuilding their lives, others are looking for ways they can help any way they can. Since our story on Tuesday about people feeling lost after the tornado aired, many of you have been looking for ways to give. Some are on the ground teaming up with volunteer organizations. Others are not able to physically be out, but you're looking for ways to help. Sam Medor saw our story yesterday and knew he had to take action.
Yeah, my wife passed away. We've been married 50 years. She passed away 3 years ago in January. And so I have a lot of her clothes, and it took me all this while to finally own the fact she's never coming back again, but I'll see her again in heaven. So I decided, well, I can make use of the clothes and give them to somebody. So that's what I saw. I saw the need and decided to do it.
Even businesses like Sherwood Photography are trying to help out. The owners say if a storm victim lost an ID during the storm, you can call Sherwood Photography and they will help you get a new ID.
Governor Phil Bryant was in the Friendly City today to see the devastation firsthand. He toured some of the areas hit by Saturday's tornado. He also spoke with city leaders about what comes next. Bryant says he is doing everything he can to get federal disaster relief aid headed to Columbus. He wants to focus on getting residents back on their feet.
How can we get someone that's in this community that may have children in school back in temporary housing and get those children back in school as quick as we can? The superintendent's done a really remarkable job here of trying to get that population in and continuing their educational opportunities here in Columbus and the surrounding area.
The governor says it's important for him to get out and see the damage in person so he can see what's needed. Time now to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. He joins us with a first look at our forecast.
Joy in Columbus right now, a live view with our Alpha Insurance camera. You can see the increasing clouds. We are currently dry right now. That will be changing later on, it looks like. Some lighter showers up near Iuka, and there's a bigger batch of rain out here south and west of Kilmichael. A little bit of rain already into Winona. So some additional rain beginning to move on into our region. We may see even see a thunder shower or two tonight. So pretty mild though overall, 60s for a good chunk of this evening. Your full forecast is next.
The teen charged in a deadly shooting in Winston County appears in court today. 18-year-old Jared Hanna is charged with murder. He's accused of shooting 18-year-old Malik Miller. It happened just before 11 o'clock Tuesday morning in Noxapater. Miller was taken to the hospital where he later died. Hanna was taken into custody a few hours after the shooting. His next court appearance is set for March.
Fewer than 500 people live in Noxapater, so when a young life is taken, it affects really the entire community.
Today we talk with two men that coach Malik Miller. He was shot to death yesterday in Noxapater, or in Winston County. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio with that story.
Yes, his coaches say Malik touched everyone around him and the community has now been silenced. Both men are now in disbelief.
After shooting death of 18-year-old Contavious Malik Miller, two of his former coaches at Noxapater High School are keeping his spirit alive.
Deeply, it hurts. It hurts very bad. But like you said, I really don't know what to feel. It's just trying to be strong for the people that surround Noxapater and our children that we have to this day that has had a big impact. And you know, be honest with you, we lost someone that was very, very important to us.
These kids all loved him. Malik was loved by his teammates. He was loved by the community. I tell him I love him. You tell him we're going to miss him, and just how proud of what he had become, what he had made his mind up to become.
Miller was going to East Central Community College for a welding degree. The men that coached him on the field and on the court said Miller made plans in the game and in class. He was on the dean's list for East Central.
You know, I got to watch him grow up from a young, skinny kid to a man. You know, and that's one of the things that I'll always remember about Malik is the transformation that he made, the growth that he made.
Never settling for less than average, Miller stayed up late at practices, worked hard, and lit up the games with his smile.
It was just that one that you can count on anytime you need to rally up a team or to give you that passion of the game. He was that one that brought it to us.
We reached out to Miller's family, but they are understandably still processing his death at this time.
Recognized by the governor for its positive impact. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
Welcome back. A Tupelo Elementary School received special recognition from Governor Phil Bryant. The award recognizes education partnerships that make a difference in the community.
Our Allie Martin tells us more about this agreement and the results.
Every Wednesday morning,
Hi, sweetheart. Pretty pink shirt you have on today.
West Jackson Street Baptist Church members read with students at Rankin Elementary.
Representative.
The Reading Buddies program began more than 2 years ago when the school was adopted.
We get to develop a relationship that teaches us how to remember when we were young and to let them see that just because we're old doesn't mean we can't be fun too.
As this reading time relationship continues to bloom, Rankin received the 2019 Mississippi Association of Partnerships in Education Governor's Partnership Award.
And we're thankful for the school. It's just good for all, we hope.
West Jackson's Reading Buddies program is just one of many ways the church reaches out to the school. In fact, Rankin Elementary Principal Dr. Mitzi Moore says the church's efforts have had lasting and measurable impacts.
Honestly, we can truly say that more than 700 students over the course of time have been impacted, but also to look at the increase in student reading scores, our percentages there in student proficiency in reading, that has increased. We feel like one direct cause of that is the reading partnership. Also, student attendance has increased.
Students say they look forward to the weekly reading time.
We have fun, and when we get done reading, she always gives me prizes from how good I read. It's fun, and I always just read and get smarter.
Church members have also organized food, clothes, and shoe drives for students. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
We've got some more rain building back in from the southwest. Already a little bit wet here in Montgomery County, and that chance of rain continues in all areas tonight. Your full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Here's the current situation across our area in Columbus, Tupelo. We are dry. Vernon, same story at Durham's Pharmacy, Louisville, Mississippi, getting closer and closer to some wet weather as the clouds build on in, but we're mild. We've got some 60s here, still 72 in Meridian, 73 in Jackson. We topped out well above 70 today. Now, don't get used to it. It's still winter. Yes, it's still winter, and look at this. We have some chilly air blowing in by Sunday evening. The first half of next week, very cold, with temperatures struggling to get up to around 40 degrees Monday and Tuesday. Lows getting down well into the 20s, too. So right now we're feeling like spring, but it's going to feel more like winter in just a few more days. The Buttahatchee River near Hamilton getting closer and closer to flood stage. We should be home free by Friday. The Bevel-Locken Dam should be below flood stage by Saturday. We have crested everywhere. The water continues to recede, but we do have more rain on the way. This is Attala County right here. One recent lightning strike there southeast of Kosciuszko. More rain than anything else, but maybe a few lightning strikes and some rumbles of thunder here as this next system comes our way. You can see this initial wave right here. It stretches all the way back down into Louisiana, and this will be crossing our area tonight. Basically a nocturnal event. Most of this rain will probably be moving through during the night. You can see a little bit more additional development possible later on this evening and tonight. We don't really expect a lot of rain during our Thursday. Still a chance for a shower or two, but more clouds than anything else, it would appear, with temperatures southeast of Columbus in the 60s tomorrow, but a little bit cooler back to the northwest. Maybe only 50s here, Oxford, Ripley. 62 could be a little bit too warm in Tupelo, and maybe only 46 in Oxford. So that is our day tomorrow. There's a frontal boundary moving on through. Tomorrow afternoon is to our southeast, so we don't really anticipate a lot of rain like I just mentioned. Same story on the Friday and Saturday too. Can't rule out some rain here, but it just doesn't look very active here for the next few days. Our next front right here, the one that will give us that cooler air, starts to approach Saturday. It really starts to move through sometime Sunday, so the first half of our Sunday could actually get back into the 60s. But by the end of Sunday, chilly air returns, and there could be a little bit of frozen precip somewhere in the region late Sunday. At this point, we are advertising most of the rain to get out of here before it can really get cold enough to cause any problems, but we'll watch it. But there's that cool down as we get into next week after this spring-like air through Sunday morning. Sports is next. Stay tuned.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Former Mississippi State linebackers coach Tim Lukabu is leaving Starkville for the NFL. Football Scoop reporting Lukabu will join the Cincinnati Bengals. Used to having to fill an assistant coaching position in a pinch, Joe Moorhead has already made a move. The Bulldogs are expected to hire Vanderbilt linebackers coach Chris Marv to the same position. Football Scoop also being the first to report the news. Marv has spent the past 5 seasons as an assistant for his alma mater Vanderbilt. 24/7 Sports naming Marv a top 30 under 30 coach in 2017. With the eventual hiring of Marv, that'll complete a seemingly never-ending coaching carousel for the Bulldogs this offseason. With a lot of new faces and some new spots, some of the new assistant coaches are looking forward to adding their own mark on the program.
You want to be the best in the country. You want to be the best in the conference, regardless. So you're going to work your behind off to do that. Now, it doesn't change anything. What I do daily and what we do from a daily standpoint of the way we work and our drills and things like that, we still have to go to work. And just because the history states that they've done this, it doesn't mean this is going to happen if you just because you show up. So you got to show up and work every day.
Starting from the stands and then work their way up. Try to make them better get in and out of breaks, understanding how to run routes, understanding defenses, increase their football IQ, just to make their whole football game slow down a little bit.
I'm excited about, Kyle, and I see a very talented young man, and I also see some areas where he can get better. And, obviously he missed 2.5 games, I believe it was last year. We want to make sure that doesn't happen, and just, make sure he stays healthy and just, just be productive, throughout the season.
Tyson Carter and Quindary Weatherspoon paced Mississippi State to its 9th conference win of the season, 5th in a row, steamrolling Missouri in the second half. The win all but eliminates any doubt for the Bulldogs to go dancing for the first time in a decade, now knocking on the door of a double bye for the SEC tournament. Ben Howland says, we're in, now it's about improving your seeding.
We've got a great resume with quadrant run wins all over the place, and but we want to keep obviously having success because we want to put ourselves in the best position to be seeded as highly as possible and potentially stay close to home. But yeah, to answer your question, I would think we're definitely in.
Hail State Hoops head coach Vic Schaefer named one of 15 finalists for the Naismith Coach of the Year. Schaefer will look to run it back as the winner, taking home the honor after the 2018 season. Mississippi State can clinch at least a share of its 2nd straight SEC regular season title at home against LSU, and could clinch it outright with a South Carolina loss on Thursday, but the Bulldogs will take a crack at the Gamecocks for the 2nd time on Sunday over in Columbia. Coming up later tonight on WCBI Sports, at last check, Tennessee and Ole Miss locked in a barn burner. The Vols up 21-18 still in the first half. We'll have highlights and recap coming up tonight at 10, as well as some crazy JUCO highlights down from the state tournament. Make sure you tune into that. We'll recap it all right here on WCBI Sports. We'll have a last year forecast coming up next.
Some showers trying to build on in from the west, a few lightning strikes there too, but mainly rain here as we go throughout the course of the evening and the overnight hours. So that's the way it's looking tomorrow. Some 60s, some 50s in the region. Most of the rain, though, is going to be tonight, it looks like. So not really a lot of rain for the next few days during the day. By Sunday, that could change, and then much cooler next week.
The quicker we march towards spring, the cooler it gets.
I know, we're doing things backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, weather whiplash, huh?
Definitely.
All right, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.